Nice to see you all. Can you hear me? Can you listen? Yes? Yes. Perfect, perfect. Well, nice to see you all live. I hope you all are well. Our students want to say hello. Welcome to all of you too. I want to use the time a little bit today for the live streaming to just show a little bit how we apply different cooking techniques. Today I want to show you 5 cooking techniques and my students will help me to apply them, and we have then a little bit more time in case you guys have any questions. I saw you already, most of you already have a lot of proposals for your first project, which is very nice to hear. And here are just a few techniques we're going to show you, which can help a little bit to enhance the umami. Can you all hear me well? Can you understand me well?
Could you quickly have your student introduce their name so that
of course.
They will order that too?
Of course.
So that it's kind of seems,
Of course. I will pass the microphone to each of them, so each of them can say hello to you guys. Su nombre?
Hello, my name is Paloma. Hello, my name is Bianca. Hello, my name is Zaira. Hello, my name is Brenda. Hi, my name is Mariana. Hi, my name is Monse. Hi, my name is Shunashi. Hi, my name is Alejandra. Hi, my name is Zaira.
Good morning, I am Levi.
Hi, my name is Stephanie.
Hi, I am Manuel. Hi, I am Juan. Hi, Eugenio.
They're all a little bit nervous, you know. Some of, as you already know, they have all different levels of English. Some are in level 2 and some are like more advanced, you know. Do you want?
Would you like our students?
Yes, of course.
Hi, I'm Licha.
Hi, Isha.
Hi. Good morning, I'm Leslie. I'm John. I'm Phil. I'm Larry.
Hi.
It's a wonderful thing. Hope you're posting.
Okay.
I'm
Hey. Nice to see you, Eriko. Well, it's a pleasure for us to work with you guys, and we're all very excited. It's something new for us too. It's the first time we apply those kind of things to our gastronomy license degree, but our students are very excited about the project, and I already can tell that they're already getting a lot of advantage of it, you know? Because everybody now is has much more knowledge about umami than they usually have in the 3rd semester. So which is very nice because it's some extra for them, right? Okay, so I'm going to start to explain a little bit with the first technique we're going to apply today. Mariana, could you please come? The first technique we want to show you guys, it's a technique which I have mentioned too, it's a vacuum cooking. What we're going to do, we have certain things of ingredients which already have umami inside. We have a little bit of chopped garlic, we have a little bit of echalot, of charlotte onions, we have some wet snapper fish fillet, some fresh wet snapper fish, some mushrooms, which you guys know has already umami inside. We use some saffron root, and we have some carrots. So the technique in that case is, we're going to put everything into a bag, and we're going to take out all the air, and we're going to seal it. Once we have done that, we're going to add a little bit of ingredients, and we're going to put everything into basically water to poach it. What's the purpose on that technique? When you apply the technique, we can mix ingredients and we can get, for example, umami flavors of the onion and the garlic and the mushrooms, which will pass to the other ingredients. So in the time they're going to do that, we're gonna jump into the second cooking technique. Gracias. Thank you. Can you put it? Can you show the machine? They're gonna put it now into the vacuum machine to seal it and take out all the air out. And after the whole bag, we're going to put basically in hot water. Okay. In the meantime, when they're gonna do that, we're gonna pass to the second recipe. In the second recipe, we have Bianca and Paloma, which is going to show us a kind of a soup. As you know, in the Oriental cuisine, there's lots of soups, also like in the European cuisine, where we mix different ingredients together, which helps us to get all those umami flavors in one, basically one dish or one recipe. So for example, we have a few ingredients here prepared for that soup. We have some shiitake mushrooms, which were dry, but we had soaked them with a little bit of water. We have some kale, which also has umami by nature inside. We have a little bit of ginger, soft ginger, some red bell pepper, and some green poblano chili, which is very Mexican. Also, we have a little bit of echalot, onion, and a little bit of garlic. And we have a little bit of dashi, and we made a broth, which is just made out of chicken, basic chicken bones. So if you already analyze, all those ingredients, most of them already have umami inside. So now Bianca's gonna help to first apply a little caramelizing to the garlic and to the onion and also to the ginger. The caramelizing, it's like a technique I already mentioned, which helps to make the more intense flavor of the umami from the onion. So first she's doing caramelize a little bit with a little bit of sesame oil, just to keep it a bit more oriental. Also add the ginger, please. So she's going to fry it like for about 2 minutes with low fire. We're going to add the ginger. And we're going to stir fry just a little bit. We're going to add the red bell pepper. The green poblano chili. Remove it a little bit, just like for about a minute. We don't want to give it too much frying because we don't need no color on it. We don't want. We want to keep it like a clear broth. Now we're going to add the mushroom and the kale. Now we're going to add a little bit of the chicken broth, which we have made before. So now the chicken broth already has umami, also because of the chicken, and we're gonna also add a little bit of dashi, which is actually like a fish color for fish soup. We added of dashi, so we make more intense the umami flavor because now we have the fish and the chicken, the mushrooms, the kale, the onion, the garlic. All of them are umami rich. As a technique, we basically just use mixing them all together, which helps more to get more flavor, and also the part of caramelizing the onion and the garlic. We just added some rice pasta, which cooks very quick. It takes about a minute. So this is like a nice simple broth, which we can change, right? Always when we talk about cooking techniques, we more apply the cooking techniques and not that much as recipes. Because basically when you have the cooking technique, you can apply it to any other kind of dish because you can be very creative and changing ingredients. And instead of using chicken, I can use a beef broth. I can make a fish broth if I want to have more intense on fish flavor. So it's like you can be very flexible of how to apply or which ingredients you apply to those kinds of dishes, right? So in the meantime, this is gonna cook for about 2 minutes and actually it's done. So I just want to show you how we, for example, have now the fish. It's basically in the bag, it's sealed complete. And what we're going to do, we're just going to add it into the cooking water, and we just add it like that, and it will all cook, but inside the bag, which is very interesting because when you're going to open up the bag, you have all the flavors very intense because nothing can leave the bag because it's complete sealed. So it's a very nice cooking technique because it helps to pass flavors, umami flavors, from ingredients which don't have umami to another ingredients which you want to have the umami flavors. So those two we're going to leave sit for a while. In the meantime, I'm going to go to the third cooking technique. The third cooking technique is going to show us Brenda and Saida. What we're going to do is now we're going to use a smoking gun to add cold smoke into a salad. I like that technique because usually when we have ingredients like salad, carrots, pepper, olives, a little bit of cucumber and avocado, there's not really umami inside them, but there's a cooking technique I can apply to make the flavor much more intense and to apply, for example, cold smoke, because if I would add hot smoke, everything would get damaged. I would not be able to do that to the salad, right? So what we're going to do now, basically, we're going to add the salad to the bowl. You can use basically any kind of ingredient to do that. We have some yellow bell pepper. It's just like a simple presentation. I'm not going to make much more effort to serve it as a gourmet style, just more to show you how to apply the cold smoke. No, we're going to add a little bit of avocado too, which we love here in Mexico. I'm sure you guys too. I'm sure you guys all know guacamole, right? Add some cucumbers. And as umami, to add a little bit of umami, we add some aged cheese to the salad. It looks like a Parmesan cheese. Now, we're going to cover the bowl with a little bit of plastic foil, just to seal it so the cold smoke won't leave once we had added. Now, I have here a smoking gun, and the smoking gun we're going to add to the bowl. As you can see, this is a smoking gun which is like pretty much new in the gastronomy business. It's very nice because we can add, for example, we have here some wood chips, which are very small wood chips from apple wood, and we also have, for example, hickory, which has more smoke flavor. So we have a little bit of wood chips which we add to the smoking gun, and then Robert Patiño, he will light up, and we will turn on the gun, which will basically add the air. Turn on, there you go. So I don't know if you can see it right now, we will start burning very slow, and very slow the smoke will get into the bowl where we have the salads. It will take a little bit. Can you see kind of how it comes out now, right? It's very tough to see. It's very light smoke, you basically can't see. Can you show how it's burning here? You see how it's burning, the smoke? So now can you see how the smoke is getting into the bowl? Can you see it? So if you leave that sit for a while, all the salad will get certainly like a smoke flavor. So for example, in that case, I'm using apple wood chips. But you also, when you like in Mexico and you want to have Mexican flavors, well, I could use some wood chips from a mango tree, or from a cherry tree, or from a lemon tree, you know, because it gives a little bit more flavor of trees we already use in the business, right? So you can see here we have now the smoke. We set the bowl, and in the gastronomy business you also can keep that, and for example you can serve it like that to the client, and it's like a little bit of an extra effect on the table. For example, if I'm going to come to the table and I'm going to take out the foil, you can see how the smoke all goes away. You know? So now the salad has a smoky flavor, but it's not cooked, it's not hot, it's everything cold, which is like a very nice technique you can apply to any kind of ingredients which usually can't add heat, right? Okay, that was the third technique. I'm sorry, a little bit quick, but just to show you guys more, I think it's the best way. Now, I want to show you another cooking technique. For example, one team was talking about sushi. And one team was talking about the sushi and was asking, well, how can I add a mushroom to the sushi? So, like, I want to show you a technique which you can do very simple. And, yes? Okay. There you go. Yes.
Yes, they can chat. And they can,
Can you still hear us? Yeah. ¿Puedes contestar? ¿Quién tiene mi teléfono y decir que estoy en filmación? Are you guys ready for the next? Are you ready for the next cooking technique, or you want me to wait? Can you still hear me?
Thank you.
Can you still hear me? ¿Cree que se cortó algo? Es que por hoy eso. Can you hear me still? Yes? Everything okay? No nos puede escuchar. Okay. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Hello? Yes? Perfect. Okay. You ready for the next cooking technique? Okay. Okay, next cooking technique I'm going to show you, because some people were asking, some team had a sushi proposal and they were asking, how can we add a mushroom to the sushi? Well, it's very simple. In the sushi, we can give the mushroom a pre-cooking, and we can use that technique to also enhance more the umami by adding, for example, soya sauce. So right now here we have Alejandra and we have Saida. They would show us how to cook the mushroom so you can add it later to the sushi, or in the middle. So first we put the pan on the stove. We will add a little bit of butter, a little bit of onion, and a little bit of garlic. Just to caramelize again a little bit. When you have the garlic and the onions, we always like to use them as condiments, not such as ingredients, because sometimes some people don't like too much garlic flavor or too much onion flavor. When it's raw too, not cooked, it's much more stronger. So like when you caramelize, the flavors get a little bit, they change a bit. They get a little bit more sweeter because of the carbohydrates of the onion and the garlic. When the water steams out, the flavor gets much more intense. So they're gonna caramelize a little bit the onion and the garlic with butter. And we have some mushrooms. They were dry mushrooms, but we had added in water like about an hour before, so they get much more smoother and softer and more easier to cook. So once we stir fry them a little bit with butter, we will add the mushrooms. We add a little bit of salt and pepper to get more flavor to it. Just a little bit, because when we're going to add soya sauce is already very salty, right? We just fry them all together a little bit. And then we add the soya sauce. And we leave it cook about 2 minutes, just to reduce a little bit the soya sauce. So now we have, as ingredients, we have the mushroom, the dry mushroom, which has umami. We add the onion, which has umami. We add the garlic, which has umami. And we also add the soya sauce, which also has umami. So like the flavors are very, very intense and umami rich. So now even the mushroom gets cold, or is cold, as like sushi usually is a cold dish, mostly. There's no problem to add the cooked mushroom inside the sushi roll, or also outside, around the rice, the cooked rice. So now we certainly can enhance also the sushi by adding those kinds of ingredients. You know? Also, to see the soup, you can see the stew. It's a nice soup now, with all umami rich ingredients. And also, for example, the fish, as you can see, it's poaching in this water with the ingredients. It's actually already cooked. Also, it's a low temperature because I'm not cooking it. It's just basically poaching in the juice. So that was the fourth technique. Now we're going to go to show you the last technique. For that we have Manuel. He will show us the technique. Okay. Manuel? Okay. We're going to go to the ingredients. This next recipe, this next technique is to show you a little bit how we can add, for example, meat flavors which already have umami. For example, we have some bacon which we have caramelized, and the bacon already, because it's meat and also because it's smoked, is already umami rich. We have here some chopped garlic, some chopped onion, which both have umami too. We have some basil, fresh basil from our organic garden we have outside. We have some tomatoes. Those are actually the red tomatoes we call jitomate, and actually we call those ones tomato in Mexico. Those are ones more of the original tomato, which originally come from Mexico. This one has much more like a sour taste, and we're just going to add it because this one is a sweet tomato and this one is a sour tomato. So what we're going to do with that technique? First, we're going to stir fry a little bit of bacon and with onion and garlic. That's the first part. Now, Manuel is going to put it on the stove, on the fire. We're going to heat it up. We just pre-caramelize the bacon and the onion because it takes about 10 minutes. Now the next step is we're going to add the tomatoes and the caramelized onion. Add the tomatoes. We're going to add the tomatoes. This recipe is basically to make an intense sauce. And it's an intense sauce because it's very umami rich, the same by the ingredients we're using first of all, and also the cooking techniques, because we had applied again the caramelizing, and we had added the bacon, we had added the tomatoes, both kinds are umami rich. We had added the onion, the garlic again, and we also again going to add some aged cheese. We leave it cook on the fire. We're going to add a little bit of seasoning, like pepper and a little bit of salt. And we leave it cook about for 3 to 4 minutes. Once all that is cooked, we're going to add all those ingredients into the blender with some aged cheese. So the aged cheese again also has umami. On the end, we're going to have a nice, very rich umami sauce with very rich umami flavors and very intense. You can use that sauce, for example, for pastas, for meat, for chicken, even like for sandwiches, no? Like, as you know, like for example, a simple ketchup or barbecue sauce also has umami because basically of the tomatoes too, and all a few other ingredients, no? So those are like some cooking techniques which enhance a little bit the umami flavor without using artificial umami products like seasonings or like Ajinomoto or things like that. In that case, there are like many more. We will try to show you in all the live streaming sessions we're going to have the next 3 weeks a few more techniques. You guys can, I'm not watching for that you copy the techniques. It's just to give you some ideas how can you use those kind of techniques and apply to your proposals, no? For example, you guys already found a lot of ingredients which are umami rich, and the cooking techniques can help a little bit enhance it more. As we know, like in many different countries, there's like so many dishes which by origin already have umami, no? Like we said the other day, the mole sauce for us here in Mexico are very rich in umami, no? Because there's like, it takes about 2 days to make them. Every ingredients get applied to different pre-cooking technique, and after they get all mixed together. So when we have like 30 or 40 ingredients in one dish, they're very rich on flavors, no? Anybody of you guys had tried mole before? Can you lift up your hands if somebody knows the mole sauce? Nobody? Yes? No? It's a very nice sauce. I'm sure you guys must have like Mexican stores or something, because there's like so many Latin people in the States. maybe if you see one day those kind of mole sauce, I really recommend to try it because it's like such a great sauce. I'm from Germany, and everybody I've seen who tried that sauce were like impressed about the intense flavors. Also because there has cacao seeds inside. No? And as I mentioned last time, who doesn't like chocolate? No, just a few people. So like the flavors of something we usually eat sweet and then mix it with salty. It's very interesting. No? So Manuel, you're going to explain what you're going to do right now. I'm going to pass you the microphone.
The cream rice, the bacon, onion, and garlic. Next, put the tomato and green tomato. And
Pass it to the blender. Explain.
now shake because the fire is high. And next process is go to with the pan. And put the cheese, all the cheese, because the cheese is so good. And next process, shake. And that's all. This is a great tip.
Hazlo para acá. Pásale. So, as you see the final results, as you see we have here nice creamy tomato sauce, which also would work for pizza baguettes, for any kind weird dishy sauces, and it's very umami rich because of the 8 cheese we added and all the other ingredients Manuel just was showing us. We have the mushrooms here. You can see the mushrooms are now cold, but already have also the onion has the soya sauce. They're very smooth, so we can add them to the sushi roll or to any other ingredient too. If you want to make like a sandwich, for example, you want to add that, or a pizza baguette, or a pizza, or even like to burgers. If you like a burger with mushrooms, also they could apply. And you can see the soup. It's like a little bit kind of oriental kind of style soup with the mushrooms, the soya sauce, some fresh kale, some bell pepper. And here you can see the fish we had added. You can see the fish will still have the juice in the bag. So like from this fish nothing has left the dish. Can you please hold the microphone? Yes. I just want to open up the bag and just show you the results. So you can see, for example, here the fish fillet. So you can see I cooked the carrots with the fish fillet, and you can see the fish fillet is just poached. So the fish, you can see all the juice, nothing has left. It's a very human fish, has a lot of humidity, what I refer to. It's not dry as usually. For example, this technique is perfect if you want to make some salmon, for example. And the interesting thing is, the carrots now have umami flavors because we had added the fish to it, we had added the mushrooms, the onion and the garlic. And since everything has been cooked or poached in the same bag and nothing could left, the carrots have been cooked with the juice of the fish. So this is like a very interesting modern technique which can you apply to anything, even like to meat. So now this is fish, so the fish cooks very quick. If I want to make a slow cooking, I also can do that with meat. I can add a piece of beef meat and can let it cook for about 10 hours. So it will get so smooth and so tender, like it will fall off the bone and still will be very, very juicy without leaving any of the benefits. Also nutritional benefits will stay much more safety when you do those kinds of cooking techniques. Okay guys, well, there was a few cooking techniques. Some of my students, they had to leave real quick because today they have like exam for French class. So I don't know if you guys have any questions or if I can help you with any doubts or anything you want to ask me, please let me know. Again, please.
Is it smoke on? Smoke, that's no. Smoke.
The smoke.
Yeah.
Where the smoke goes to, or where? How hot? The smoke from the smoking gun. The smoke from the smoking gun is actually pretty much cool because the way it takes to go through the hose is enough, and it's very thin. That's the purpose on it. If it would be like a thicker hose, for example, then the hot will pass through too. But since it's very thin, when it gets out to the end, it's about just 30 degrees Celsius. I don't know how much Fahrenheit that is, to be honest. But it's not hot. Almost, let's say, like body temperature. It's called smoking gun. It's from Polyscience, which makes a lot of tools. If you want to make a hot smoker, you can do that too, to other ingredients, right? For example, it's very simple. Actually, right now we're having like projects with the same class where we're doing like smoking ovens, but like natural made. And we're working, applying different techniques, how we do it. For example, you can use a lacquer, like same lacquer as you know, to hang on clothes, or like the lacquers we have in school. And you just add like a grill, and from the grill you pass the smoke through a hose to the lacquer. So like in the closet the things would smoke in the lacquer, like for example like a fish fillet, for example. And if you want to add hot smoke, you have to add the same hot wood into the same space where you want to smoke the product. So now you will have the heat of the hot wood and also the smoke, which will go into the flavor, into the fish or whatever you guys want to smoke. I hope it answered your question, or you have another? No?
Yeah. I have a question about the investment. Poaching is bad because feels bad.
Again, I cannot, it always breaks up. Maybe you can write the question, is it possible? So I can see it better and answer correct? Would that be possible?
Si quieres sacar la pantalla porque si no nos manda.
I don't even
No. Can you write the question? Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, by the way, for my bad English, you know, but it's my third language, so it's not that perfect always.
It's great.
What is the
Great.
perfect? Okay.
Most of us can barely speak one.
Perfect.
But he speaks the three.
The poaching temperature, like for example, when we cook water, when we cook, the temperatures usually are from 96 Celsius to 106 at the most. It depends on the altitude. For example, we are here on 1,600 meters altitude, which is a little more higher. So it takes less temperature basically to boil, right? So once the water is boiling, we basically turn it off. So once we turn it off, the water stays about 90 to 95 Celsius. Also, when I'm adding the bag with the ingredients are cold. So the ingredients depends on the volume I have on water, but the same ingredients could cool off a little bit the water. So I have to play a little bit with the fire. Usually what I do, I turn on the water until it boils. When I add the bag of the ingredients, I turn it to very low fire and leave it like for 2 minutes. I have to cover the pot so the hot won't leave. And then I just leave it sit, and it will keep the temperature from about 85 to 92 Celsius. That would be the temperature for poaching, which is a nice temperature to not damage ingredients, right?
So 85 to 90 Celsius.
Yes.
The 100 is the boiling
The temperature for poaching?
Yeah, so they're not always here. People familiar with English system. The Fahrenheit. So
Can you write it again, please? It's I always the sound breaks off, so I have difficulties to understand. Okay. Yeah, we don't use Fahrenheit. We just not use Celsius. I know you guys use Fahrenheit. I don't really know how they're converting this, but there's like many apps we probably should use like for those kinds of things.
I have another question.
Yes.
That's good. How long do we need to have
Then trying to go to how long do we need to fry onions for caramelization? Okay, good question. It takes a long time and you have to be very patient. Sometimes people usually do it like really quick, but the process to do it very well or accurate is like to have like a very, very low temperature. You have to use the lowest fire you are able to use on your stove and also use the right pan. A Teflon pan will help so it doesn't burn that quick. And then at least, it sounds a lot, but it takes about 15 to 20 minutes. You have to use a little bit, kind of a lot of butter, because the butter also has a bit of water inside, and the water will like steam away. So in the end, you just have left basically the butter, the poor butter, and the onion. It also helps if you add a little bit of salt. White salt. The salt will absorb the water from the onion and it will make the process a bit more quicker. So basically, once all the water of the onion reduces, you will have just left the caramelized onion, but it takes about 15 to 20 minutes. Actually, I don't know if you guys have tried one day to scratch an onion, very fine, and just to see how much actually is water of an onion and how much you will have left of the onion. It's amazing. I mean, if you scratch and pour onion very fine and you put it through a streamer, on the end you will have 70% just water, which is a lot. And that process will steam it away when you caramelize it. That's why it takes so long. So I recommend from 15 to 20 minutes.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Any other?
Oil. Yes. Different oils.
Different oils, yes. Oils, we have many oils. For example, for frying, some people say, oh well, you know, I'm going to eat healthy, I'm going to use olive oil. But we have to know which kinds of olive oil we use, because if I use the virgin olive oil, it's virgin. That means it has been pressed cold. So if it's pressed cold, it's the first pressing. So we can fry with virgin olive oil, because it will burn right away, because to lift up the temperature it's not possible because it has been cold pressed. And besides that, once it starts burning, it gets like dangerous and it even can damage health. So when we use olive oil, it has to be like an olive oil which has been pressed in hot, which is not usually the simple olive oil and the much cheaper olive oil. If we're going to use the virgin olive oil, then we're going to use it just for like cold applies, like for salads or for dressings. So for frying, basically you can use also like sunflower seed oil or corn oil. And they are also like for the Oriental cuisine, for example, you can use sesame oil, which is like pressed and hot usually. And we also use chia. I don't know how you call chia in English, which is like a very Mexican, very Hispanic actually, you know. Yes, basically like this is like the simple, but always very important to not use like virgin olive oil for frying. You're welcome. I see you writing another question, so okay, what's the name of the tall male student behind you? We want to know your name. Hey guys. Tell us a bit more about you.
Like what do you want to know?
They want to know your name?
Juan.
Juan.
My name is Juan.
Juan. He's the guy, he's the boxer guy. He has posted on Facebook. He's the one who likes to box. And he's a fighter too. It's like
Yes.
his passion. He likes that.
What else? What else you want to know?
Who are your team members? You're working together with Faith. Write the question. You want to write the question so you can answer if you have any questions to him? Like some of my students had left already because they have French exam today. Like from the next weeks, they're all going to be here the full time. That's why he's still here, because he already did his class and the other had to leave really quick. So now he has the bad part, he has to clean the kitchen, right?
Another question.
Yeah. Why do we have the hats? First of all, because when we're in the kitchen, as you can see, we also have like the parts which extract all the hot steam and all the hot air. That's why we have hats. Because when we are cooking on the stove, lots of hot steam with grease also goes out always in front of us. So one thing is just not to contaminate our head part, and also the part of the hair. Because I don't know if it happened to you guys, but sometimes you can go to a restaurant and then suddenly you find like a hair in your dish, which is very unnecessary and very uncomfortable to see things like that in your food, right? So like a big part for us is like to have the food safety, and the head will keep our head together, no? And also the women's, they need to have a net for the hair, so it won't fall off. Okay. That about the hats. And we have different hats. Well, the women use different hats which are a little bit shorter. And well, me as a chef, I'm free to use any kind of uniform, and I always like to use the good looking ones, right? And my students have to use the white uniform, because usually in the business we use white uniform. And also that will help them a little bit to work more cleaner, because when we have black, it helps a little bit to cover sometimes when you get a bit dirty, right? When you have white clothes, you have to have it clean every day. You have to start to get used to it, to work clean, and to always keep your uniform as a part. No? And we have everything. They have to have pants, they have to have instructions for shoes. Everything is like indicated, and they all have to use the same uniform. When they're gonna start to get into the real business, they can change, they can use. But here, that's like necessary that use that part. Any other questions?
Any other questions? Well, Roger's name and everybody, it was great. Meeting you.
Thank you.
Roger, thank you so much. Thank you, that was fun.
Thank you guys too. And also, always, if you have any questions, I'm always looking at your postings on Blackboard. Not every day, but I try as much as possible. I already saw you guys already having a little bit of advances on your project. Sometimes for us it's a little bit different, because we do have different classes here. For example, my students, they are making one license degree, and they have sometimes classes from 7 in the morning to 7 in the evening. So it's very tough for them. Hey,
do you know what he's doing behind you?
yeah, I can see him, you know, he likes to play. He's the biggest one.
Yeah, of course.
He's the biggest one, but he's the smallest one, you know, like I don't know how to explain it. You know? He's like a little kid in here, you know, like, but he likes it. He's a nice guy, you know. Anyway, always count on my help. If you have any questions, you can contact me. You have my email if you want to know about more cooking techniques. If you have difficulties with my students, or we have the group leaders which are in your groups, let me know and I will get their attention. And they tried as much as possible to be on your postings and to get feedback to you guys and to work with you together. I know already you guys already saw a lot of ingredients. You already have like made decisions about dishes and recipes you're going to use. So it's very nice. Next week you have to work on your PowerPoint presentation, and I'm sure you guys are going to have like nice results, and I hope it's going to be like lots of learning outcome for everybody. So thanks you guys for your attention, and we're gonna be in contact online about the week and during the week, and next Friday we see us again in live stream. Have a nice weekend everybody, and thanks for your attention.